We begin 5 on your side at 4 with breaking developments in the Eric Greitens case. The St. Louis Police Department confirms it has opened an investigation into the prosecutors in the governor's case. Our Casey Nolan tracked this story to Jefferson City today. He joins us now with the latest. Casey?
Okay, more in a moment on the reaction here in Jefferson City to these latest developments and to the surprise announcement that the governor's case was dropped yesterday. But first, it seems the tables have turned. An investigator is now under investigation. The governor, you'll recall, was facing a felony for allegedly taking a compromising photo of his former mistress without her consent and then transmitting that photo. But no photo was ever found. And yesterday, during jury selection, prosecutors dropped the charges. They said because the governor's defense team was going to call the circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, as a witness. The reason they wanted her on the stand is because the governor's team says her lead investigator had lied under oath and tainted the case. Today, they took those allegations to the St. Louis Police Department, and the department confirms they have opened an investigation after meeting with the governor's attorneys. We spoke to one of the governor's fellow Republicans here in Jefferson City who has called for the governor to resign over all of this.
No one is above the law, whether it's the governor, whether it's the prosecutor, whether it's the people who she had investigating the case. No one's above the law. If anyone broke the law, whether it was the prosecutor, whether it was people under her watch, that needs to be brought into account, and folks need to be charged accordingly if they're guilty of a crime.
State Rep Dogan stands by his calls for the governor to step down. Meanwhile, from the circuit attorney's office, strong pushback against this investigation, against these claims by the governor's team. They challenged them to say what evidence they have that a crime was actually committed. We asked them that. They referred us to the police department. The police department said they can't talk about an ongoing investigation. The circuit attorney did say, though, that this is no surprise to her because, quote, twice Governor Greitens' team of attorneys came to my office and threatened my staff and me with the continued barrage of insults and accusations if we continued to pursue these charges against the governor. Of course, the governor's team said yesterday they haven't seen misconduct like this from her office in more than 30 years of practice. Okay, so what does all of this mean here in Jefferson City? Well, today they tried to continue with business as usual, as much as it can be usual in the last week of the session. A lot of activity, but not much talk of the governor today. That will likely change on Friday, Kay, when they gavel out of the regular session and gavel back into a special session to consider possible impeachment of the governor. Kay, we'll send it back to you for now.
All right, thank you, Casey. And as Casey mentioned, Kim Gardner released a lengthy statement about an hour ago. She defended lead investigator William Tisaby, saying there is not one shred of evidence that any action by Mr. Tisaby was illegal or materially impacted any evidence in this crime. There is also no evidence that Mr. Tisaby was anything other than mistaken or confused during his deposition when he answered the questions improperly. You can read the entire statement from Kim Gardner. It's on our website, ksdk.com.